Tonight on News 5 Live, Health CEO Daisy Mendez is out. Double murder suspect charged after being captured in Guatemala. And a construction worker is charged for weekend stabbing death. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
We have been a partner with SMART for over 10 plus years. We have a full SMART plan we use as our major driver for our business. We have a service that rolls over in that if you call one and it is busy, it rolls over to the next line. So once you call us, you can get us at any time. Before we got this SMART service, we were paying upwards of nearly $2,000 in phone bills. Since we've had our SMART service, we pay an average of about $600. So we've had tremendous saving, more than 50%. For the businesses, if you want to save money, switch to SMART because it is far more cost effective and the service is excellent.
SMART continues to be innovative in bringing new technology and meaningful savings during these challenging times to businesses across Belize. Sign up for our VoIP technology or broadband packages and save more.
The Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Beep disinfectant spray is certified by a U.S. EPA compliant lab to kill the coronavirus that causes COVID-19. Beep for a happy, healthy home.
With RF&G Insurance, you can request a quote, renew a policy, purchase a policy, and even file a claim effortlessly with WhatsApp. Here's how. WhatsApp the words "Get Started" to 670-8700. We will prompt you to select the service that you are interested in. Select the service and answer a few simple questions. An RF&G representative will process your request and follow up with you when your transaction is completed. It's that easy. Skip lines and WhatsApp us. Remember, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a road group company.
It's almost time when we change the drums for the Christmas bells. And you know that when Christmas season starts, we celebrate big at Channel 5. How big? It's our 30th anniversary. That's right, the Big 3-0. And this year's Gimme 5 will be packed with fun, entertainment, and big giveaways. The show starts on December 6th and runs through December 10th, starting at 7:30 p.m. nightly. Coupons are now available for 25 cents each on our Channel 5 website and at our studios on Coney Drive. Fill out your coupons and bring them into our compound. And remember, starting December 6th, when the phone rings, don't say hello, say, "Gimme 5."
Gimme 5.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, November 24th. I am Sabrina Daly. This afternoon, police formally arrested and charged Brian Castillo for the double murder of his common-law wife and stepdaughter, which occurred on Sunday. Castillo had been on the run for 3 days, but was captured on Tuesday in Petén, Guatemala, before he was handed over to Belizean authorities overnight. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports on the case that has captured the attention of people in both Belize and Guatemala.
He had escaped across the western border and into Guatemala with his biological son following the vicious killing of his common-law wife, Jennifer Archia, and stepdaughter, Nitzia Katsim. But Brian Castillo is back in police custody. The 28-year-old was captured in San Benito community in Petén, Guatemala on Tuesday afternoon through the joint efforts of the Mobile Patrol Unit and the Special Forces of Petén.
La verdad que muy contentos, complacidos con el trabajo que realiza Élite Motorizado con la DIFEP de acá del departamento del Petén, luego de que se cuenta con la información de la sala situacional de gobernación departamental, donde una persona nos informa sobre del individuo el cual es responsable del asesinato de su familia en el vecino país de Belice. Se encuentra dentro de la jurisdicción del departamento del Petén, dándole seguimiento junto al Élite Motorizado y la IFEP. Se logra neutralizarlo dentro de una vivienda. Se están realizando las coordinaciones para que pueda ser trasladada a la orden de captura y poder entregarlo al vecino país Belice.
Within hours on Tuesday night, Castillo was handed over to local authorities at the western border crossing between both countries. By this afternoon, Castillo was charged for the double murder which occurred on Sunday night inside an apartment in the Santiago Juan area of San Ignacio. While he was detained in Guatemala, in a confession of sorts, Castillo admitted to killing his wife, saying that they were both drunk and he was defending his son because he claims Archia had a knife at his throat.
Las redes sociales argumentan que usted habría pues asesinado a su familia. ¿Qué tiene que decir a eso?
No es verdad. Simplemente fue una borrachera que nosotros tuvimos y ella me sacó el cuchillo y pues yo tuve que defenderme porque ella tenía a mi hijo, le tenía un cuchillo a mi hijo en el pescuezo y pues yo quería defenderlo, ¿no? Mi sangre y pues yo tuve que defenderme.
¿Usted estaba tomado al momento de haber asesinado a la mujer?
Los dos estábamos tomados. Sí.
¿Usted sí asesinó a su esposa?
Sí, porque, o sea, ella me tenía amigos de cuchillo, yo tenía que defenderlo.
A statement from Castillo that will very likely be used during the trial. The family wants justice for the killing of their loved ones.
We don't want to know anything about him. We just want justice to just pay for what he did. Right? This is like an assassin execution. Yeah. This is not a dog. This is not a butcher house. Right? This is human being. Everyone has a conscience of soul.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
First, Dr. Manza, and now CEO Dr. Daisy Mendez. Today, word spread like wildfire that Dr. Mendez is no longer with the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Last week, we had reported that there may have been some head bucking within the leadership of the ministry. Today, that seems to have ended with Mendez being out. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Dr. Daisy Mendez is no longer the CEO in the Ministry of Health and Wellness. That was confirmed by Prime Minister John Briceño this morning and continued to be the buzz of the day. Mendez is the second chief executive officer of the Briceño administration to leave. Dr. Lesbia Guerra's one-year contract with the Ministry of Natural Resources came to an end earlier this month. But was the writing also on the wall for Mendez?
The president of the Public Service Union has come out against you for purportedly limiting the CEO's abilities to spend monies above $3,500 without your express consent. Can you speak to that in light of what the Constitution says, that she is in fact the Chief Accounting Officer for the ministry?
Sure. This is not limiting. I don't have the authority to limit her. What is happening is, as you know, things are moving very quickly with COVID, and we felt that it was important for us to just step back a little bit and assess what's going on and to make sure that all of our resources are going in the right direction. That is all it was. I don't have any legal authority to limit her or to constrain her.
But the PSU president claims otherwise, even going so far as to say that the minister has, quote, lost his way. Dean Flowers told News 5 that the CEO is the chief accounting officer for a ministry as guided by the Constitution and should not be restricted in any way, not even by the minister.
I am in receipt of instructions from the Minister of Health, and I quote, to the CEO, dated November the 5th, in which he stated to the CEO, kindly note that as of today, 5th of November 2021, no purchase orders, no invoices, no contracts, no agreements, no payments in excess of $3,500 is to be made by you without my express prior consent. We have our minister who has lost his way and who is not familiar with how the public sector runs. And sadly, I would have expected that the CEO would have responded to this and say to him, sir, the least you could do, man, that read the Constitution, man, read the legislation, which makes me the accounting officer. And so with all due respect, you need to stick to what you do best, which is...
While it is not known whether this is what triggered the CEO parting ways with the ministry, we are told that the relationship with the minister has been strained. The COVID-19 pandemic has placed the Ministry of Health and Wellness under the microscope, and that may have compounded the issue. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
News 5 reached out to Dr. Mendez today, but she declined an interview. We hope to speak with her soon. Sean Stephen Herchuler, a construction worker of Belize City Address, has been arrested and charged for the crime of murder. He stands accused of the stabbing death of Miguel Zaiden, who was fatally wounded on Racecourse Street Sunday night. Zaiden was in the neighborhood with several other persons when an argument ensued. During that altercation, an edged instrument was produced and he was stabbed multiple times to the body. Despite an attempt to ride off on his motorcycle, Zaiden collapsed a short distance away and was later transported to the KHMH, where he succumbed to his injuries. Earlier this week, Assistant Superintendent Fitzroy Yearwood commented on the incident.
They were socializing. Apparently that person was with them earlier, and then that person returned, and argument began between him and Zaiden. Of course, we had other witnesses who were there also. Hopefully the investigators know exactly what's happening. No? I know that oftentimes when Mr. Zaiden is out socializing and gets intoxicated, he would come into these arguments with people. This, of course, is being that I know him for some years, but he's never the type to initiate violence towards anybody. So I don't know what went wrong between him and his associates, his friends out there, to have caused this. Like I said, it's an unfortunate thing for the neighborhood. You always see him on that motorbike driving around. So with the kind of neighborhood that I know Racecourse Street has, these neighbors will be concerned. And the suspect is from the neighborhood also. So it's a sad time for the Racecourse Street residents.
Canadian Jasmine Harton is still awaiting trial for the shooting death of Police Superintendent Henry Jamot, as well as for cocaine possession and common assault. But her name has surfaced again, this time in connection with a young man who died on Sunday. Police found 26-year-old Joel Young dead in the Bahia area of Key Cocker. Witnesses claim to have seen Young running down a street before he collapsed. His sister says Joel had been under the influence of cocaine for 3 days, but it is not yet known if this played a role in his death. He had no known history of illness, and a rapid test for COVID came back negative. Today, family members told News 5 that they have yet to receive any report from the police department and that no autopsy has been performed so far. The family is looking for answers, especially since they also heard he may have been shot. Young and Jasmine Harton had been living at the same residence at the Key, and she and Joel's sister went to the hospital to identify his body. According to our records, in April 2015, Joel Young was charged alongside 4 others with drug trafficking. After a police pre-dawn raid on their apartment in San Pedro, they found 83 grams of cocaine packaged for sale. Coming up, the latest on the sugar industry. Details when we return.
Hi, my name is Chef Jenny. I am the head chef at Elvis Kitchen for the past 35 years, a family-owned business. As a chef and fisherwoman, I have always wanted to know where my fish was caught. I found this opportunity for Elvis Kitchen and especially my customers so that they can know where their fish was caught.
Hi, welcome to Elvis. Our dinner special will be your whole fish, deep fried, served with rice and beans and green salad, right? But if you'd like to learn a little bit of the catch tonight, you can easily just scan the code on the table.
Awesome, thank you.
So now you know where your fish come from, and now you have a whole new market.
Ready fish sticks and shrimp, topped off in garlic butter sauce, and our whole deep fried fish, all right? Enjoy the meal.
Thank you.
The future of public transportation is here. Floralia aims to provide Belizeans with a comfortable, delightful, and affordable commuting experience. Our buses will make stops in PG, Independence, Dangriga, Belmopan, Belize City, and surrounding villages. Our 2022 Yutong buses are competitively designed to ensure reliability, durability, maximum fuel efficiency, and safety for both passengers and driver. This modern beauty exceeds local standards with its luxurious layout. Each of its 49 seats comes with headrests, armrests, footrests, and seat belts. Additional features include USB charging ports, foldable trays and cup holders, entertainment screens, open ceiling compartment to store personal luggage, spacious bottom compartments to transport commercial goods and cargo, and a host of other amazing features. Floralia is here to give Belizeans the best in the public transport industry. For more information on our bus schedule and prices, please visit our Facebook or Instagram page. Bus run starts on December 6th, 2021. See you soon. Floralia, make your journey an experience.
Digi, the premier name in voice and data, is also the country's leading provider of innovative services and solutions for small business and enterprise. At DigiBusiness, we offer solutions, tools, and applications to support your business needs. Reduce costs, improve efficiency, and excel in a changing world where no idea is too big and no task is too small. From technology advising to design implementation and management, our team of qualified solution sales and specialists can develop a reliable and robust infrastructure, allowing you to spend more time on what matters most, your business. Visit us online to explore how DigiBusiness innovative products and solutions can help your business reduce costs and improve efficiency.
Feels like forever you've been burning for me. I'm here now. Oh, it's a fire indeed.
Businesses across Belize, both large and small, have been severely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic since March 2020. To assist these businesses to reinvest, restart, and recover, the Government of Belize and the Central Bank of Belize have partnered to establish an Emergency Business Support Program, EBSP, which will make low-interest loans capped at 4.5% available through participant banks and the DFC to micro, small, medium, and large businesses that qualify. This program will be managed by a newly created special purpose vehicle named the COVID-19 Financing Limited, which will be funded by the government and the Central Bank of Belize. Eligible borrowers may use the loan for the following purposes: to restart business operations, to recover from pandemic effects, to engage in foreign currency earning business, or for working capital. Loan proceeds shall not be used to repay previous or existing loans or taxes, nor be used to pay dividends, share buybacks, or otherwise directly benefit owners and controllers of eligible borrowers. Small, medium, and large businesses can apply at participant banks or the DFC, while micro businesses can apply through the DFC or the National Bank of Belize. The target date to launch the EBSP is November 1, 2021. Learn more about how your business can begin to reinvest, restart, and recover by visiting www.centralbank.org.bz.
The next sugar crop is set to commence on December 20th, but ASR-BSI is still at odds with the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association. This is over an existing cane purchase agreement, which the representative body of cane farmers in the North argues should be terminated. While 3 other cane farmers associations are in agreement with Belize Sugar Industries Limited to maintain the status quo, the BSCFA has refused to budge. According to Vice President for International Relations, Mac McLaughlin, efforts have been made to call the directors of BSCFA to the table to discuss the issue.
I wanted to give a little bit of background on where we are with the start of, or potential start of crop, and where we are with relations between the BSI and cane farmer associations. And as I check my watch, it's late November, which means the crop is almost upon us. We're aiming to start the crop around the 20th of December. And as things currently stand, we have long-term cane purchase agreements signed with 3 associations. However, the 4th association, the BSCFA, has explained to us it wishes to terminate the agreement and to renegotiate it. We have put forth proposals to extend the existing agreement with a few minor changes, which are all in the farmers' favour, and it will help farmers to receive added benefit from the agreement moving forward due to greater efficiency and improved terms for selling our added value sugars. BSCFA has put forth a proposal that would radically change the way the cane price structure works, and would basically amount to a major transfer of resource from the mill to the farmers. And it's a position that we're in at the moment. We're reached out to the BSCFA, to all their directors, to have a conversation about why their proposal would really make this industry non-viable for the future, and to discuss, the issues that and the background to why we think that it's sensible to maintain the status quo at the moment, while the investments we've made kick in and help the entire industry to become more viable.
BSI's Chief Financial Officer, Sean Chavarria, explains the benefits that farmers are enjoying from the manufacture and sale of direct consumption sugars to the external market.
Farmers are already seeing as well the benefits of that investment, increased production of direct consumption sugar. And we've highlighted to them that, for example, last crop, the 2021 crop, by replacing the raw sugar that we're producing with direct consumption sugar, we sold twice twice the amount of direct consumption sugar than we did in the 2020 crop. And the price improvement to farmers for last year was $3.21 per ton of cane. And it's been steadily improving since we've made this investment of $64 million to move towards a greater production of direct consumption sugar. And for next year, that benefit is continuing. We're seeing improvements in world market price for sugar. We're also bringing in the benefits of the transition to Big Creek, so seeing lower ocean freight savings. And that is resulting in an improvement in the price for cane. Compared to last year, the first cane price estimate last year was $43.86. This year is $50.62. What that will result to is that the first payment that is going to be made to farmers for this upcoming crop will increase from $36.40 to $40.50. So it just demonstrates that the investments that we're making are having tangible benefits to cane farmers.
According to the CFO, approximately half the total population of sugarcane farmers in the north is in favor of a long-term cane purchase agreement.
50% of the cane farm footprint sign up for a long-term agreement. I think they see the benefits of continuing with the existing agreement through the value share, as we have explained, where our investments to increase value, reduce costs, we are sharing that. It's all about growing the pie, not looking to how we divide that. And as Mark said, our task ahead is to try to convince the BSCFA of continuing with the existing agreement to continue to share in these investments, continue to see how we can reduce costs, and also on the farm side, look how we can support the cane farming community to address, see how we could reduce farming costs as well, because that's the other element. We're looking at revenues, so we're growing the pie, we're reducing the cost for shipping. That is resulting in improvement in the revenues that we share. And the third element is looking at efficiency in the farm sector.
After the break, a bill presented by children in a mock parliament will go to the real House of Representatives. We will have more when we come back. But first, here's a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Game hot right now, dog.
Tell him, you got it, though.
Boy, watch the time. Close to curfew. I seriously tired of live like this, dog.
Yeah, I feel it, bro. But you still don't get back set, Joe.
Why? I just no trust. I guess I'll get wrong to that.
You need to get on that. We know how this thing spread and we can stop it. Only some people say the play last. No offense.
But I just see a lot of weird stuff online.
Yeah, but bro, the evidence clear. Vaccine work. And people at hospital, almost all, not vaccinated.
Yeah.
So if you're really tired of live like this, then get vaxxed, bro. Simple.
For real. Yeah, but we're close to curfew and I don't want to catch on charge, so later man.
Vaccines save lives and greatly reduce the risk of transmission, hospitalization, and death. Get vaccinated and let's get back to normal.
If you are ailing due to a chronic disease and are left permanently invalid before retirement age, you may want to check if you qualify to receive invalidity benefit. The invalidity benefit exists for persons who are unable to continue working due to permanent illness. To qualify, you must be under 60 years old, must be sick for 26 consecutive weeks and certified to be medically unable to perform any type of work, must have at least 5 years of paid SSB contributions and at least 5 paid within the 3 months leading up to your illness. If you do not qualify for the invalidity pension, you may be eligible for the invalidity grant. Want to know more about invalidity benefit? Visit our website or contact any of our offices to have someone assist you. Also, be sure to visit our Facebook page and give us a like to stay informed. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Welcome to the good life. Like we always do at this time.
Live the good life where you will find quality and savings on these products and more. Only at Penny's.
When something is good and you can save, that makes it even better. Like this guy, he buys Flex bundles using his promo credit. No worries when his primary credit is finished. He gets talk, text, and data for free. Or her, she calls her family internationally with her promo credit. And with data packages so affordable, she even does video calls. Smart continues to offer great deals and affordable promotions. As a small business owner, she saves when she uses her promo credit to call the other guys. All Smart customers enjoy more triple days and knowing they can use their promo credit, which just lasts longer. Smart, bringing people together.
Today at the Radisson, a meeting was held between those in the public sector and the non-governmental organizations who work with children. It's part of the Children's Agenda launched back in 2017, which looks at the goods and services provided to children that coincide with their basic rights. So, what is the state of children in Belize, and are we closing the gaps? That's what today's meeting was all about.
Our focus is on children and families. We're looking to see how is it that all entities can come together, all stakeholders, whether it be government or non-governmental, making sure that we come together and do what's right for our children. You know, many times we look at children and we say, yes, they're there to be seen, but not to be heard. No, we need to see how we can get children to be respected, to be given the way where they can reach their maximum potential. So it's very important what we're doing here today.
Where are we? What's the status, the state of the children in Belize?
Okay, well, we're having various presentations today, and we're looking at the different ministries and looking at where we are, all the work that has been done up to now. I must say that a lot has been done up to now, but there are areas that need to be filled, different gaps.
So we're looking at what are the goods and services we're providing for children as it relates to health, education, security, economic security as well. How are the children doing in terms of their social spheres? So the Children's Agenda looks at their life expectancy, it looks at their education, and it looks at it under 3 main areas. So we have the national outcomes, and then we have the transformational goals and implementation arrangements. So those are the 3 broad areas.
2021 has not been a good year for children. So far, 10 minors have been killed as a result of violence. The most recent was Sunday night's murder of 12-year-old Nitsia Katsim in San Ignacio. A 10-month-old baby also lost his life as a result of a road traffic accident on Monday afternoon. These incidents are of great concern to the National Committee for Families and Children.
I hardly had any sleep simply because I was trying to figure out what has gone really, really wrong. Too many of our children have died, too many of our children are dying. And it is one thing when a child gets caught up in an accident, but it is horrible when a child is actually murdered. And I think especially when a child is actually murdered by someone that she or he cares about, or at least know. And so it really speaks to the fact that we need to get into the minds of some of these perpetrators to see exactly what is it that they're thinking. There's just so much more to be done. We need to also work along more with parents, with mothers, to help them to, because sometimes, we put blame here and there, but even when we are selecting a partner, sometimes we're hoping for the best, and then at the end of the day, this is what we end up with, no? So it seems to me that people are going through some very difficult times in life. People are not able to cope. I think the whole essence of, I don't know, where people feel insecure in relationships, that sometimes this is the way that they want to end it.
Over the weekend on Saturday, a children's parliament spoke to just that. A bill was presented that called for the protection of young people from violent crimes. Those who rose to support the bill spoke to the factors that contribute to gang membership at an early age and the need for intervention at the policy level. Today, News 5 spoke with NCFC Executive Director Margaret Nicholas, who says that the successful session has the support of Minister Dolores Balderramos Garcia and is expected to be tabled at the House of Representatives.
From education to labor and all the ills of the society, they are hoping, and we are all hoping, that the bill will come to fruition because it's a good bill. And there's not such bill in our country at this time. So we're happy that our minister in particular, Ms. Dolores Balderramos, sees this as a very good bill. I also had a chat with the Deputy Prime Minister, who also saw it as a good bill. So we will continue to advocate, along with the children, to ensure that the bill is passed at some point. We do not want the children's agenda to end where it ended on Saturday, but we want it to be an advocacy body to ensure that their voices are heard and taken seriously. The plan is to continue with the Children's Parliament. The plan is to move the Parliament from one level to the next. If you noted the last time in 2019, we only did the lower house. This time we did the upper house, as well as we had a Governor General. And so we want to look a little bit deeper at maybe how we do the electoral process and how we get them into the House by way of election rather than by selection.
Just ahead, the economy has grown, but prices have gone up almost double since the 90s. We will have the latest numbers for you, but first, here's a weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
This weather update is brought to you by SMART. This weather update was brought to you by SMART.
Have you ever wondered how to tell if someone is marriage material? Do you ever wish there was more to your marriage? Maybe you've asked yourself, how do I raise my kids the way God wants me to? Join us for our new series, Mixtape. We'll play through how God wants us to love the people in our lives one track at a time. Get ready to crank up the volume and tune in for advice God gives us in the areas that matter most.
On May 6, 2018, I suffered a hemorrhagic stroke, which is bleeding on the brain. When it happened, I went straight into a coma straight away. I flew out via air ambulance to Galenia Hospital. A week or two after waking up out the coma, I started doing therapy. They had me do therapy straight away. And I'm grateful for that because that is what made me start moving and walking again. And I got back to being normal. When I went back, I did a new CT scan. And the CT scan results showed no blood, no clot, no fluid on the brain. So I didn't require the surgery again. But I had 24-hour nurse service by my side to make sure that everything is okay with me. After I came back to Belize, they still reached out to me, asking me if everything is fine and how I'm doing, and making sure that if I have any issues, I can always go back, and I just keep contact with them. And I'm very grateful to all the doctors and nurses at Galenia for their hard work and dedication. They're the ones that have me here today.
How can we support the emotional well-being of older adults during COVID-19? During the COVID-19 pandemic, and particularly while in quarantine, individuals, including older adults, may become more anxious, angry, stressed, agitated, or withdrawn, especially those who need healthcare assistance or have cognitive decline or dementia. Here are 4 strategies that can help you in supporting an older adult during this difficult time. 1. Communicate information and listen. Present with accurate, simple, and accessible information and facts about the COVID-19 outbreak, its progression, treatment, and effective strategies to prevent infection. Listen patiently to their needs and concerns. For older people with mild cognitive impairment or early stages of dementia, inform them of what is happening within their capacity and provide support to ease their anxiety and stress. 2. Promote positive mental and emotional health. Provide access to available mental health and psychosocial support services, also known as MHPSS services, for older adults, and communicate when and how they can access them. Help older people keep regular routines and schedules as much as possible. You can also help them create new ones, including regular exercising, cleaning, daily chores, singing, painting, or other activities. Facilitate regular communication between older adults and their friends and families. 3. Help with medical needs. Make sure that older adults have at least up to 1 month of all the regular medicines that they may require. Explain how to use protective devices in a clear, concise way. Always be respectful and patient. 4. Assist with daily activities. Provide older people with details related to how and where they can get practical help if needed, like calling a taxi, dropping off supplies, having groceries delivered, and requesting medical care, as well as information on any locally available social support programs and services. For more information, consult the webpage of the Pan American Health Organization, www.paho.org/coronavirus.
My parents always said, when it's time to build, invest in quality products that last a lifetime, even if it means paying a little more. It is now my turn to invest in my own home, and it's not even a question. It has to be Oran Windows. My contractor recommends Oran because of the heavy-duty construction, the thickest gauge blades on the market, and the dual locks that allow lower louvers to close independently for privacy while the top remains open for airflow. These features make Oran aluminum louver windows the best on the market.
With Oran aluminum louver windows, you get strength, durability, and beauty with an added layer of security and protection against debris and damaging winds. Come in and check out the variety of sizes and colors at Design Depot, located at Mile 3 Philip Goldson Highway in Belize City.
Bringing people together has always been SMART's mission and passion.
That is why we are proud to have built a locally independent quality network from the ground up that spans the country with over 100 sites. We continue to add more affordable mobile data packages, broadband speeds, and voice services to meet your personal and business needs. Smart has set the standard of true competition with the most competitive prices on all services offered. We invite and welcome you to join the Smart family, where the value for your dollar matters. Smart will continue bringing new technologies, more affordable prices, network expansions, and people together. Smart, bringing people together.
The 9 months of 2021 looked far better than the same period in 2020, according to statisticians who collected data on the country's economy, employment and inflation rates, and external trade. Today, the data was presented to the media, and Marian Ali was present and filed the following report.
The cost of living, or the rate of inflation, at the end of September 2021 stood at 5.2% over the same period last year. This was the highest increase on record since August of 2008. Statistician with the Statistical Institute of Belize, Melvin Perez, explained to the media today what were those determining factors that played a part in the jump in prices across the board.
Now, looking at what contributed to this increase was first the transport category, which had a notable increase of 16.2%, as higher prices for motor vehicle fuels was recorded. It was followed by the food and non-alcoholic beverages category, which went up by 5.8%, as higher prices for meats, vegetables, and fruits was recorded for the period. Prices in the housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuel went up by 3.5%.
The gross domestic product, or GDP for short, also grew by 15.2% over 2020, but it remains lower than the pre-pandemic period. External trade, which includes imports and exports, also rose by significant margins, going by SIB's data.
For the period January to October of 2021, Belize's imports stood at $1.7 billion. This was a significant growth of almost 30%, or $386.5 million, as imports increased across all commodity categories when compared to that same period last year. Such a wide sweep in increased imports is reflective of not only a comparison made to the severely reduced imports of 2020, which were notably impacted by the challenges of the pandemic, but higher world market prices for various commodities and greater shipping costs were largely responsible for this increase. For the period January to October of 2021, Belize's domestic exports totaled $367.4 million. This was a respectable 13.2% increase, or a growth of $42.8 million over exports for that same period last year.
The unemployment rate fell, according to the SIB, from 13.7% to single digits, 9.2% over the same comparable period. According to the statistics, the labor force in September comprised around 191,808 persons, and around 90% of that amount was employed in some form. Statistician Wendy Benavides broke down the figures.
The decline in the level of unemployment was largely due to persons rejoining the labor force and finding jobs. Across the districts, Toledo registered the highest unemployment levels at 14.6%, followed by Cayo at 11.4%. Unemployment figures decreased in all districts except for Toledo, where a notable increase was observed among young females ages 14 to 24 years.
Orange Walk, according to the figures, recorded the lowest unemployment rate at 6.4%. And while the statistics shows that the Belize district registered the highest unemployment rate at 15.1% in 2020, by September of this year, those figures dropped to 6.5%, mostly due to gains made in the tourism, real estate, trade, and the services sector. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
If you have been trying to explain to younger people that a dollar seemed to stretch further or things were simply less expensive back in the day and they didn't believe you, well, now you have some evidence to look back up your stories. Figures shared by the Statistical Institute of Belize today showed that since November of 1990, the October of this year, the same basket of goods almost doubled in cost. Statistician at the Institute, Melvin Paris, used an example of the rate of inflation from decade to decade.
If the baskets of goods and services cost $100 in October of 2020, which is our base period, this same basket in November of 1990 would have cost $62. Now, 10 years after, in November of 2000, the same basket of goods and services would have cost $74. 10 years after, in November of 2010, the basket would have cost $94.40. Now, 10 years after, in November of 2020, the same basket of goods and services would have cost $100.40. And in October of 2021, the basket would have cost $105.20.
Belize's economy grew in the first 10 months of this year compared to the same period of 2020. That has been the line that the government has been sticking to since it took austerity measures to salvage what was left of the economy as a result of COVID and what is dubbed as reckless spending by its predecessor. Today, the Statistical Institute of Belize supported the government's position on the growth of the economy. Statistician Christopher Hulse pointed out, however, that while there was growth, we're still not where we were prior to the COVID onslaught.
To determine the country's GDP, we studied the three productive sectors of the economy. The primary sector, which includes raw materials that can be processed into a finished good. So, for example, the products we get from agriculture, fisheries, and forestry. We have the secondary sector, which takes these raw materials produced by the primary sector and process them into manufactured goods. So, for example, from sugarcane, we process sugar, soft drinks, and from citrus, we have like orange concentrate. And finally, the tertiary sector, instead of goods, it is the production of services instead of the end product. So, for example, hotels provide an accommodation service, schools provide educational services. For most of 2020, the global economy was distorted due to COVID-19. In Belize, we had 4 quarters of decreased production up to the first quarter of this year. We now have 2 consecutive quarters where we see production approaching levels prior to 2020. However, I want us to observe that the level of GDP for 2021 for quarter 3 is still lower than the pre-pandemic levels. Right? So that's the emphasis, that even though we see an increase of 15.2%, the level is still not where it was before we were hit with the restrictions from COVID-19. We can now look at how each sector contributed to this 15.2% growth. The tertiary sector continues to have the highest contribution, accounting for more than half of GDP growth for the 3rd quarter, even when it was affected by COVID-19 during the 2020 to 2021 years. It has a total value added of $390.3 million out of the $649.7 million that I stated earlier, which is approximately 60.1% of the GDP.
Up next, KHMH authorities talk about the COVID budget. Stay with us.
Following the COVID-19 vaccination, some people may experience side effects such as soreness at the injection site, chills, nausea, body aches, or a fever. But these symptoms go away after a few days. These side effects are a result of your immune system responding to the vaccine and are not a sign that you are sick with COVID-19. The COVID-19 vaccines will not give you COVID. When you receive your vaccine, the health worker will advise you what to take if you are experiencing any of these side effects. Remember, these mild side effects cannot compare to you not being able to share memorable moments with your family and friends if you fall gravely ill from COVID. Vaccines bring us closer.
It's a fact that your credit lasts longer when using Smart. During these times, we're all trying to find ways to cut costs and save the little resources we have. With Smart, it's easy to do that. It's a fact that with Smart, your credit lasts longer. You can call Smart to Smart and Smart to Digi using your promo credit, while with the other guy, you can only call OnNet, Digi, or BTL numbers. What does this mean? You get to call any national number using your promo credit. Your promo credit is free, so that call is also free. Know your facts. Don't be tricked by the other guy. Be smart and save your dollars.
What is the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine? The Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine is an RNA vaccine that triggers our immune system to develop antibodies against the SARS-CoV-2 virus that causes COVID-19. It helps to reduce hospitalization, severity of the disease, and death. What is the Pfizer vaccine made of, and is it safe? The Pfizer vaccine is made up of mRNA messenger ribonucleic acid, which are molecules that carry the genetic information needed to make proteins, lipid, salts, and sugar. It is safe for persons 12 years and older and does not contain the COVID-19 virus, hence cannot cause infection. Tests have shown that the vaccine is effective against current virus variants. Who should take the Pfizer vaccine? The Pfizer vaccine should be taken by persons 12 years of age and older who do not have severe allergic reaction after a previous dose of vaccine or have not had severe allergic reaction to any ingredient of this vaccine. 2 doses of the vaccine are required 3 weeks apart. If you are between the ages of 12 and 17 years, you are required to present a signed consent form before you are vaccinated. What are the side effects of the Pfizer vaccine? Some common side effects of the Pfizer vaccine are headache, fatigue, muscle pain, fever, chills, and swelling at the injection site. If side effects persist, contact your doctor as soon as possible. Does the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine prevent infection and transmission? No, vaccination alone does not prevent infection and transmission. We are still required to continue to wear masks properly, physically distance, wash and sanitize hands often, practice proper coughing and sneezing hygiene, and avoid crowds.
Is always with you, from live TV, sports, and on-demand titles. Choose your plan today. Plans start as low as $15 per month. My TV, entertainment, anytime, anywhere.
The dire financial situation of the government's flagship hospital, the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital, is public knowledge. But today, the chairman of the KHMH Authority, Dr. Andres Sosa, provided some background context. During an appearance on Channel 5's Open Your Eyes, he explained that while the KHMH did get $30 million in government subvention, the COVID pandemic has driven up costs to such an extent the National Referral Hospital needs an additional $400,000 a month. The subvention alone, he says, simply no longer cuts it. Dr. Sosa warns the pandemic is not yet over and the hospital needs support to meet current needs and future COVID waves.
Even though the KHMH is a statutory board, we are a part of the government. Yeah. We are here to provide for the people of Belize. Having said that, at the start of the COVID pandemic, there was a meeting that involved several parties, including the Ministry of Health, the Labor Department, the Carl-Huchner Workers Union, which was an ad hoc committee at that time. And the purpose was to try and prevent exactly this scenario, where there would be a demand that might not be met in terms of the provision of supplies and in terms of the monies needed to fight COVID. And I think that that came from a historic situation where Carl-Huchner would oftentimes be faced with inadequate flow of supplies, but also it was in the context of a labor dispute with regards to the increment and to the raise of pay that was due. But additionally to that, of course, the prospect that with the looming financial crisis brought on by COVID, that intense measures would need to be taken, including possibly pay cuts. And the responsible persons at that time foresaw that possibility and tried to get ahead of things by making sure that efficiencies were set in place to try and minimize wastage and also to ensure that the flow of funds, the commitment from central government would be there. It was agreed that central government would assume full responsibility for bearing the cost of COVID-19.
Wow.
And also that the subvention would not be touched, provided, of course, that Carl-Huchner would be able to be efficient in what it did then and what it would do going into the future. I think that certainly to a large part, the foresight should have meant a smooth delivery of the process. Nevertheless, we know that COVID has created lots of novel and new situations, so you have to give a little bit of leeway in terms of unexpected developments. Certainly, the advent of the Delta variant with the large numbers of patients that it brought, the large number of deaths that it caused, that was one of those unexpected situations. And so the system needs to be a little bit more flexible, a little bit more responsive in terms of these kinds of events. And I'll tell you, there are countries that are in their 4th, 5th waves and so on. Don't think that we are so special that we will necessarily be able to avoid further waves. No?
For her part, the KHMH's Chief Executive Officer, Chandra Nisbet Cancino, says the hospital is a key component of the Ministry of Health, and any funds that come to them are for the people who use this public facility.
In a lot of cases, well, for instance, the first wave wasn't a quarter as bad as this current wave, and perhaps we felt like many countries, oh, you know, this isn't too bad, you know, and that may have affected the, you know, getting ready for something like this.
Yes.
But yes, I do believe that our situation, our position as a tertiary and only referral hospital in the country is a integral part of the Ministry of Health and by extension the government of Belize, and that is an important partnership that we both have a responsibility to deliver the best possible services to the people of Belize, and I think you know, that is where we're trying to continue that partnership and ensure that we get what we need. Primarily, people say it's for the hospital. It's not necessarily for the hospital. It's for the people that go to the hospital, because those are the persons they're in the center of everything that we do.
Yeah.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.